We have updated news on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the Game of Thrones prequel that is soon to start filming. We're going to get into that right now on the Sundowners Club. And now we've got a new series coming out that's going to be called A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and it's based on two characters, Sir Duncan the Tall, known as Dunk, and Aegon Targaryen the Fifth, known as Egg. And it is much different in tone than Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. And it's a series of adventures, and we've got some news. And I think it's really good news. Let's get into the first part of the news, which is after the actor strike ended, Casey Bloys from HBO came out and confirmed that their plan is to start filming production, ready to go, spring 2024, which for those that don't know about the Night of the Seven Kingdoms and the filming that will go on, there are no dragons, huge battle sequences. So this filming could go much faster, and there may be less episodes. We don't know that there'll be 10
Probably
episodes.
much lower budget too, I would
Maybe.
expect, right?
And we're going to get into that question around the budget in just a second. But they're going to be filming in the spring, and that's good news. And now we have some updated news around that might tie into the budget as well, which is that the Game of Thrones prequel, Dunk and Egg, known as The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, is possibly going to be returning to Belfast, Northern Ireland. Now, you and I have been there, and we've seen the fantastic people that worked on the crews for Game of Thrones, the original series, for 8 seasons. For those that don't know, House of the Dragon has made its home base at Leavesden Studios. And so Redanian Intelligence, we want to credit Redanian Intelligence for the news. You know, they were doing their researching, and they saw the line producer, Lisa Byrne, who worked on seasons 3 through 8 of Game of Thrones, listed on her LinkedIn business site that she will be working on Dunk and Egg and taking place in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And so this is great news because Titanic Studios and the history that they've had with Game of Thrones is second to none. The landscape there is made for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's Westeros. You've got the King's Road. You've got, all these areas that they filmed with the Erie and all the stuff around the Iron Islands.
Yep.
And there's just so much out there that they could film because these two characters go on a journey together, Protector and Protectee, right? And they travel throughout Westeros, and so we will see a lot of Ireland that they film in Northern Ireland. And those crews are ready. They're built for this. And so I think this is great news that they're returning. It gives me hope for future series. So going back to your question around the budget, they clearly are going to be getting financial incentives built in to film in Northern Ireland. So that probably will play into as well. What are your thoughts around Northern Ireland and the filming of this show and the fact they did not do that with House of the Dragon, but they're going to be doing it with Night of the Seven Kingdoms based on what you know about the synopsis?
Well, I mean, it's you'll probably see some of the same locations, I would think, right? Like it's 100 years before Game of Thrones, correct? This is
it's 100 years, so it's after House of the
after
Dragon.
House
So
of the it's in between.
Aegon the Fifth, who is the grandfather of the Mad King,
All right, and Maester
Maester Aemon,
Aemon from
the Night's Watch,
the Night's Watch would have
Game
been
of Thrones.
his great uncle, correct?
would have been Aegon the Fifth's brother.
Okay, yes. So it's confusing after a while.
Yeah. So yeah, it's getting closer to the events of Game of Thrones, which is interesting that we got this prequel House of the Dragon that is farther out, and then we're getting closer.
Yeah.
We're getting closer to. I don't know if they're doing that on purpose, but it's good news. And we've also had some rumors that are not confirmed yet that episode 1 of House of the Dragon will take place at Winterfell. So we're getting back to the parts of Westeros that
we've seen before.
People have loved to see that become huge fans. And it's great news if this is confirmed officially to be true that they're going to be filming in Belfast. It's for those that have not visited there, the crew and the people, it really revitalized Belfast.
Right.
And so it's exciting news that coming off of COVID, because Game of Thrones ended in 2019. And so then we had COVID. So now to get that rebound, business that Titanic Studios in Belfast, Northern Ireland will get is really great news for that whole area. And so excited. We wanted to bring it to you. Final thoughts. Are you looking forward to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? You don't know much about it other than the synopsis.
No, I don't. But like it's from my understanding, it's like in Game of Thrones, you had those scenes with Podrick and Tyrion
and Arya and the Hound.
Yeah, and scenes like that. And to me, it seems like the whole show is basically like that, right? Like
if you enjoyed the scenes with Arya and the Hound and Podrick and Brienne, and Jaime and Brienne, the travels along the way. You will like this.
Yeah, and that's from my understanding, that's pretty much what this show is.
Yeah, Sir Duncan the Tall is a very likable character. And so it definitely has a different rhythm than a Game of Thrones and a House of the Dragon. But I think that's good.
Right.
Because you're world building and it's
you can't do you can't do the same thing in every.
But I have one final thought is there are other books tied into the novellas around A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and George hasn't written them all yet.
Oh, well.
So we may be waiting on books to come that just like we're doing with
I think you'd finish that
Winds
main
of Winter
series first. But
yeah, we still don't have Winds of Winter, and we still don't have A Dream of Spring, so we might be waiting on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms novellas as well. But good news. We wanted to bring it to you. Let us know what you think. Are you looking forward to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Are you looking forward to seeing the on-location shooting that they did, like in Game of Thrones in Northern Ireland? Does that matter to you? Does it make a difference to you? Let us know what you think about Dunk and Egg, and leave us a comment. Smash that like button. Most importantly, hit subscribe so that we can continue to grow our channel and TCB.